Hello everyone, I'm Dan the Man. Another week of Big Brother is in the books, and another house guest has gone home. This time it was bro number 1, Winston. Or is he bro number 2? As we saw last week, Scottie 1 had a household, and seems to have had his sights set firmly on the bros, which was fine with the rest of the side of the house he seems to have chose to align with, as they are not bro lovers. Honestly, I think with some of that group, especially Rockstar, that Brett and Winston have been paying the price for the muscle-headed jocks who wronged them in high school. I may be completely off, and neither of them have done much to live down the perception, admittedly, but I still think some Big Brother players might have been having an easier time if they left their baggage outside the house. But either way, Winston and Brett somehow got the idea it was a good game move to so publicly have a bromance. Because why would anyone target two athletic jocks who proclaim to be each other's ride or die? Tyler did try to help them out and put the mist on Scottie, thinking that he could sway him to put up Rockstar, which would be great for the bros as they hated her, and for Tyler as she was totally onto him. Actually, while I don't have a handle on Tyler completely, most of that side of the house does see him as a threat. The show isn't really showing that, mostly I would assume, because they want to paint Tyler as the great player this season. But there has been talk by most of them targeting Tyler, albeit I haven't heard much of that by Scottie. But Rockstar has been the biggest advocate, so understandably, Tyler tried to get the target on her and off of his alliance members Bro 1 and Bro 2. But as we saw, it didn't work. Now don't get me wrong, Tyler's been playing a good game, and if I had to pick right now who I think has the best chance of winning, it would be Tyler. But I think the first couple of votes did make him think he was slightly more of a mastermind than he actually is. Yes, he controlled both of the first two votes and got them to point how he wanted over how they would have likely gone if he hadn't gotten involved. But at the same time, he did them by flirting and rubbing the back of a girl who is clearly thirsty for male attention and revealing a secret of Sam's that he lucked into knowing about. He definitely knows how to capitalize on an opportunity, but I think a lot of us might have jumped the gun thinking this was the second coming of Derrick or Dan Geesling. And as we saw, Scottie quickly brushed off Tyler's attempt to point towards Rockstar and put up Brett and Winston. And Winston handled it very well. If by handling it well, I mean he lost his marbles, if he had them before. Winston is way too intense and easily rattled. It's been his problem all season and a large part of why he went home. They did show some of his anger after Scottie put him up, but it was way worse than they showed. Heck, he was even complaining to Brett that he wanted to, and I quote, well, mostly quote, I didn't have the timestamp to look up the specific quote, but he basically said that he wanted to shove Scottie against the lockers like in high school. So I think I can guess which Big Brother player has most likely stolen someone's lunch money in the past. Winston's intensity is way over the top, and if we combine that with his lousy social skills, I don't think it's hard to see how he got in this mess. If anything, he's been dragging Brett down with him. The veto ceremony didn't happen, and as we saw, despite Winston and Brett somehow thinking Scottie, who was actually won something this game, had no chance to beat them in the veto, and as usual they were dead wrong as Scottie won the veto competition, thus having all the power this week. Winston and Brett did make an effort to save themselves when they tried to offer a final 3 deal in a secret alliance. Honestly, I've heard worse pitches in Big Brother, but I doubt they would have honored it, and I don't think Scottie was sold on it either, especially the part about putting each other up as pawns whenever they one had a household. Although given Winston and Brett's track record, I don't know if Scottie had much to worry about as far as them winning head of household anyway. At that point, their fate seemed sealed, although Kaitlyn almost gave them an unlikely life raft. Now first off, about Kaitlyn's vision. I'm guessing it went a little something like this. Bro! 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 Okay, all kidding aside, Kaitlyn had no vision. Bayleigh woke her up and told Kaitlyn before Scottie called her up. That's how she knew that Brett and Winston tried to throw her under the bus. And Kaitlyn then told Bayleigh everything about how she was the one who flipped and voted out Steve, that Sam had a power, that Tyler influenced her head of household nominations. Heck, if she kept talking a little longer, I think Bayleigh would have found out what age Kaitlyn stopped wetting the bed. And while after confirming it with Scottie, Kaitlyn did go down and confront them, she then proceeded to lose her damn mind and spent hours, and I mean hours, walking around the house sobbing about how mean the bros were, how she felt manipulated by Tyler, and basically played her crazy victim card. Hard. At least until the next day when she was all over Tyler and Brett yet again and completely flirting with the guys who were horrible people the night before. I don't know why Big Brother gave her such a great edit in the whole thing. Big Brother, and for that matter the fans, usually love a good train wreck, so I don't know who Kaitlyn is good with behind the scenes. But man, did they go out of her way to make her meltdown look amazing and heroic. And while Scottie did back her publicly, he was annoyed with her, and even her former alliance on that side was clearly getting sick of her theatrics and her flighty personality. Some fans speculated Scottie might put her up because of all this, although honestly I think that was mostly wishful thinking on their part. Even though I think it would be a lot easier to live in that house with Kaitlyn gone for most of the people in there, game-wise it would have been a bad move to put her up. Scottie, as we saw, didn't falter, and the bros stayed on the block, assuring the bromance was almost dead, and that level 6 was going to be down a member. That was the part I liked best about it, because I was worried after the first 2 weeks we were going to get Tyler and his alliance controlling the votes every week and picking people off, and that is not the kind of season I like. So glad it clearly won't be just an easy walk to the final 2 for Tyler, as I saw that with Paul and Derrick already. Before getting into the votes, I want to take a second to talk about the final app store we got this week. I was a bit surprised Haleigh got the Crapp app. Don't get me wrong, I never thought she was in line for the Power app, but I was sure the Crapp app was going to Angela, given the girl has been little more than a piece of cardboard all season. Maybe Angela's strong showing on day 1 got her enough votes to keep her from the very bottom. First impressions can count for a lot, but either way, Haleigh got it. Haleigh's not gotten much screen time, so given Angela didn't get it, I guess it shouldn't be too shocking. But Haleigh's a smart girl and has a better handle on Big Brother than her near invisible edits so far would suggest. I think if more people voting saw the feeds, she probably wouldn't have gotten the Crapp app. Either way though, the Crapp app was funny as usual. Not sure how punishing it truly was. BB did do her dirty when they called her and kept her hopping, sometimes calling her to read the second her costume came off, but I would think inside that house the play would give them something to talk about and something besides the Bible and the rule book to read. Haleigh seemed to be having fun with it, and even tried to keep everyone up to date on what was happening in the play. Don't know if she read Hamlet, but I think she was actually enjoying the story. Or maybe she was just enjoying having something new to talk about. As for Bayleigh winning the Power app, I definitely didn't see that one coming. Maybe it was sympathy for Swaggy C, I don't know. Fans do need to remember that any questions her name was answered for counted, even negative ones. So maybe it was a combination of some loving her and some not liking her that got her the app. But either way, it was a good app. So far, she's only told Faysal about the app power and has decided not to use it lest she or him are in danger, so it should be interesting to see if she immediately uses it once someone from her side is in danger or holds off. She has talked about possibly using it to put up Tyler, which could be interesting. Tyler has the cloud, but he has to use it before the noms are announced. She'll likely be using it on a weak an ally of Tyler's as head of household, if the house stays within the current dynamic it has, as that is when Haleigh would be in trouble. So she could end up putting him on the block without him having time to use his power to save himself. Of course, she could just use it to put up someone else she doesn't like or feels threatened by, but that is the most chaotic possibility. So with talk of the apps out of the way, on to the votes. Big Brother did their best to make it suspenseful, but it was clear level 6 saw Brett as the bigger one to stay, as he was less volatile, better socially, and did slightly better in challenges. The other side of the house rightly wanted Brett gone for just those very reasons, making Sam and JC the swing votes once again. But given so far those two had clearly been behind level 6's side when it counted, I figured Winston's days were up in Big Brother, and that's what happened. There was some debate amongst fans if Sam should use her power, as this was the last week she'd have a say on who it was used on and whether or not it was used, but I think it would have been a dumb move for her to use it to save Winston. While he was working with her, and I think Sam genuinely liked him, although not sure why, saving him would have pissed off almost half the house. And then there would be nothing to save her if they won next week and most likely put her up. Yeah, it would have made for better TV, and a lot of fans were not happy that the app might help someone they didn't like over Sam, but sometimes it's better to not use a power than to use it just because you can. Also, while they haven't really shown it, Tyler, Kaycee, and Sam have been working together on the download. And Sam did talk to them about using the power, and they all agreed that it was best not to use the power, since it might save one of them next week if they kept it in the game. So while Big Brother understandably tried to add some suspense, I never thought she was actually going to use it. So with no app and the majority wanting Brett to stay, Winston went home, quite possibly before losing his mind. Shame it's too late to save Kaitlyn's mind, but what can you do? I do want to say regarding the incident with Sam and the friendship bracelet, while it's not a surprise he acted that way, and when you just got mostly blindsided, it's understandable that you would get a little emotional, but I think Winston was probably too hard on Sam. She had to vote someone out, and sure, the friendship bracelet moment was real and in good intentions and not to throw him off. I said Sam did genuinely like him, but as much as I hated throwing around saying it, it is just a game. And speaking of what people said, and if it's not a game, man oh man, Brett and Rockstar. Now it is possible Rockstar said that before they went live, I guess. The feeds weren't on then, but I would say there's a good chance that she didn't. She obviously didn't vote that way. But boy, if Brett thought that was going to be funny, he unleashed a lion. As far as the animosity between Brett and Rockstar goes, they're both guilty. Yes, he doesn't really talk to Rockstar much anymore, but at the beginning of the game he did try to, and she ignored him. Rockstar does not like Brett, and she has been all over Brett and Winston, saying some really horrible things about them that are unfounded. Saying things like Brett has a micro-penis, Winston probably has a Confederate flag in his house, Brett is probably an abuser, and plenty of other stuff that, barring they said some really incriminating things before the feeds went live, is just her attacking them behind their backs. I'm sure some of it made it back to him, although admittedly I haven't seen that in the feeds, but I don't watch every second of it, so I don't blame them for not liking her. Rockstar definitely overreacted, but Brett was obviously trying to push her buttons, although he was probably also hoping to cover Tyler's vote some and plant some doubts. Either way, he expected her to get upset, so I can't really say he could cry because she did. But seriously, Rockstar, it wouldn't kill you to dial it back a notch. So was Winston the right choice? Well, for the majority that voted him out, definitely. Brett's the better player, as mentioned before. He has a better social skills, is better in comps, albeit just barely, and is more level-headed. So for level 6 of their allies, he's a smart one to keep around. He wasn't for Scottie's alliance, which is why they voted to evict Brett, but they simply didn't have the numbers. The show ended without the head of household winner being crowned in the endurance competition, but as usual, via the magic of the internet and the Big Brother feeds, I have the spoilers. So if you don't want to know, stop now. Really, stop now. Last chance. Sam won the head of household. Likely now wishing she had saved Winston, but she had no crystal ball to tell her she was going to win head of household, and hindsight is 20/20. It isn't surprising that she won, given smaller people and usually women win those type of competitions, but I would have pegged JC as the one to win that one. But he couldn't pull out the win, it seems. Head of household is kind of pointless this week, since as we know, Sam's power is being used. The person voted out does have to win a competition to go back in, so it's no guarantee that someone won't go home, but Big Brother is going to want someone to go back in, so I doubt the competition will be anything super hard. Then again, it's always possible someone will choke. The smart move would be to target Kaitlyn, since she's less likely to be able to win a head of household to take revenge if she does win her way back in, and even her side currently working with her isn't likely to be too upset if she's the target. But we shall see. Like a lot, I'm not thrilled for the upcoming week, as it probably won't change much since no one is likely to go home in the end, but this has been a crazy cast, so no telling what these yahoos will do in the week to come. Either way, I'll be back next week to talk all about it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell for notifications of new videos. I'm Dan the Man, and I'll see you next time.